Rob and Slim Show.
Oh my God, you're still there.
Yes. We're still doing this. Yep. Steve Coulter.
Yes.
Where are you right now?
I'm like in an episode of Columbo. I'm sitting in a car outside the union office near the airport.
Oh, the SAG union?
Yes, I just left the meeting. I got to go back in after I chat with you fine human beings.
Ooh, thank you. How's the meeting go down? Like, don't take calls from Harvey Weinstein? Like, what do they tell you?
Yeah, that's pretty much the theme.
Just block them. Yeah. Just block them on everything.
They should have had that meeting a long time ago.
Yeah, man. We were just talking earlier, too, about Charlie Sheen. Like, wow.
Yeah.
What
oh, man.
horrific stuff.
Everyone, probably Carol Burnett was probably just... Everybody.
Oh, man.
Match Game 73, Hollywood Squares.
Yeah.
No, it's not going to be pretty.
Oh.
Paulin. Yeah. So how have you guys been?
We've been good. How have you been?
I'm very well, thank you.
No problem. No problem. What do you have going on right now? Like, as far as acting, I saw you were in a film directed by Scorsese called what was that called?
Oh yeah, it's a difficult title to remember. It's Abundant Acreage Available.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's about three brothers.
He produced it. He produced it. Angus McLaughlin, who wrote I don't know if you saw the movie Junebug years ago with Amy Adams. It's sort of what made Amy Adams a star. But it's just a small little movie. But yeah, it's really good actually, and not because I'm in the damn thing. But that, yeah, and I've been traveling all over. I got to work with Kevin Costner a couple weeks ago. He's doing his first TV series.
Wow.
Called Yellowstone, and they're shooting out in Montana. So I got to go out there for about a week, and it's gonna be it's kind of like a modern day Western, almost like Bonanza. It's a family and all that stuff. And the guy who did Hell or High Water. Taylor Sheridan, the writer, he sort of created the show, so it's pretty damn cool. It's got everything in it. It's got the Native Americans and helicopters and everything.
Apaches and Apaches.
Right.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Now I got an idea I'm gonna try to sell.
That's amazing.
Tomahawks and tomahawks.
What's it like going to hell? Yeah, sorry, I'll just throw these fastballs at you. You miss them.
I feel like I could be writing for Hollywood on the bad side of it.
Yes. Well, what are you guys been doing? This radio show, I guess.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Trying to forget my horrible real life, and this is it. And then I go back to my horrible real life tomorrow, and I'm like, oh, I hate this.
This is an escape. It's like a drug.
How long do you guys do the show? Do you just stay there all day long?
I usually get here around 12 in the afternoon just to start preparing and finishing. Guest prep. I do all that. I do all that good stuff, and
I used to work overnight, so I used to like
you would just wake up.
Yeah, I would just wake up and shamble out and do the show. Like that was my morning.
Wow.
Like I'd sleep for 4 hours, set my alarm, get up, and be like, all right, let's do this.
Oh my God. That's so sad.
I know, that's why he usually didn't say much in the interview.
Yeah. I'm starting to feel a little more awake because I finally got off the overnight shift. So I'm like, all right, this is going to be nice. I'm going to have more energy.
Yeah.
Not like coming out here half asleep and dirty.
Working all that. I did that when I first started out. I would live in New York. I worked at like an all-night restaurant, so I worked like midnight to 8. And it's just, you become just a walking zombie.
Yes.
You get off, you're taking the train, everyone else is going to work.
Yeah.
You get pale, and it's kind of sucks.
Well, people keep asking me because I did it for 10 years, and they're like, well, why did you finally decide to get off? I'm like, because my mental and physical health was deteriorating.
You're not even built to do that. Your body is supposed to be tired when it's dark. Like, you're supposed to sleep at night. Like, you're ghoul.
Yeah, It's so nice. And you can't really sleep during the day, so you're never getting enough sleep.
Never.
Yeah.
I did that for 5 years, too. I did overnights for 5 years, and as soon as I got a day job, I was like, yeah, I'll never do that again. Never.
And it was funny because when I got hired for that overnight job, the guy that interviewed me says, you'll never get used to it. And I was like, psh, I'll get used to it. And I never, 10 years, never got used to it.
You never do.
Oh, man.
Steve, as an actor, are the holidays...
Yes. My God. You got a real question?
Yes. Are the holidays ever tough?
I'm ready.
Are you ever, like, unable to see your loved ones at the holidays because of an acting job or anything like that?
Look, I don't like things. One thing that's funny about, like, for example, Los Angeles, which is the center of the hive, they kind of shut down, like, they always, like, before Thanksgiving, the kind of week before Thanksgiving, everything closes.
Oh, wow.
And then nothing really happens the week after Thanksgiving. And then any kind of holiday, literally any kind of holiday, they'll be like, even Labor Day, there won't be anyone in the office Thursday and Friday before that.
Oh, wow.
So luckily, it's seriously, like, whenever, I'll do a play once in a while, and I'll usually try to do it around that December, January time, because there's just not usually a lot going on. So in terms of that, but you do miss out as an actor. Like they always said, the best way to get a job is, plan a trip to Disney World, and then you'll get a movie job, because you can't plan ahead, which is a pain. Like I had a couple of weddings to go to this summer, and people are like wanting a commitment, and it's like unless it's my daughter or son, I can't promise to be there, because you may get a job in 2 weeks ahead of time. So that kind of sucks. You can't really plan far ahead. But I've never missed a big. Like one time, my daughter, when she started kindergarten, I was doing some stupid TV movie in like Savannah, Georgia. I drove all night to make sure I was there in the morning, because life's too short. You don't want to miss stuff like that.
Yeah.
What was the stupid TV movie?
It was called The American Tempest. It had Peter Fonda. I guess it wasn't that stupid. It was okay.
That's pretty good.
I don't know why it was stupid. I remembered why it was stupid. Well, it was like a modern Shakespeare, whatever, but I was cast as this Civil War captain, and I was told my whole scene was to ride up on this horse, jump off the horse, and run up to somebody and give them a whole news about something. So I was excited to get to gallop up on this horse, and I used to ride a lot when I was a kid. Okay. But I get to the set, and because of a bunch of other actors who said they could ride and who couldn't, the guy in charge of the horses said, no actor's allowed to ride. So I had to, instead of galloping 100 yards, I had to run 100 yards in the mud.
Oh,
it's not the same thing.
No, that's not as majestic.
Yeah.
No.
Did you try telling the guy, no, I know how to ride a horse. I'm not like these other actors.
I'll prove you wrong. Just give me that horse.
They didn't believe. Because actors can be real dicks. Because they'll say, yeah, I can fly airplanes.
I can ride a motorcycle.
Yeah. And I've done that. Sometimes where you're like, oh my God, and you have to learn how to play the piano in a week. But you don't say I can ride. Riding a horse is not. No, you don't lie. So they ruined it for me. So that's
I did it once. Those horses are scary. You don't know what they're gonna do. You have no idea how they're gonna react.
Yeah, and they know. Horses know. If you're scared, they're like, well, I'm gonna fuck you over.
Yes.
These guys were just like, well, I saw that other guy in that other movie ride a horse, so it can't be that hard.
You hold on. You just hold on tight. Yeah. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I knew a guy who was a wrangler, and he told us one of the first things to make sure you didn't get too close. They'll just kick you. They'll just kick you for no reason.
They will. And I had a horse when I was a kid. I used to have a horse. We go bareback riding. I lived in South America, and this friend I lived way up in the mountains. He had no electricity, but he had horses. So I'd go up there, and we'd play like cowboys and Indians with real horses. And but I was standing next to a horse one time, and you know how horses will stamp their foot to get the flies off of it?
Yes.
Well, I was standing right next to it, and it stamped its foot right on my foot. And I was like, at first I was like, this is going to, it's going to hurt in a second. And you're trying to push it. It's not easy to push a horse off your foot when you're 9 years old.
No.
And I didn't know any bad words yet to say. I was just like, oh, gee whiz, ouch, gosh. Oh.
This smarts.
Yeah, golly, this smarts, Mr. Johnson. Son of a bitch. That's fun. Yes. Not like the kids today.
No, they don't even know nowadays. They're just playing their little games, and that's it. Their little video games.
Right. Yeah, they're on their phones.
They got their bicycle helmets, and
Yes.
I'm surprised. I guess a lot of us, I mean, I don't know how old you guys are, but I'm 300 years old, and we didn't have bicycle helmets, and I was falling off my bike. I did a somersault off my bike. Not on purpose. And you were always banged up and stuff. I guess a lot of us died.
Yeah, I think we died or we had cool scars. I know I have a scar on one of my eyes, and I had face planted off the bicycle, and I like just scraped my teeth, and I had to get caps on all my baby teeth in the front because they were just all like gnarred up.
See, I'm like,
I still have scars from bike crashes.
Yeah.
No one has scars anymore.
No, they don't get those anymore. Yeah, that was the thing back in the day. To be a dad, you had to have a cool dad scar.
cool dad scar.
Yeah. That's true.
It is.
That's really true.
Now I'm like a baby. I grew up in the 90s.
He is.
I'm only 29, but I remember like when I was growing up, helmets were a thing that we were supposed to wear, but they were uncool.
Yeah, they were coming in. They were coming in,
but it was still like uncool to wear a helmet. You were always the cool kid when you were like, I don't need a helmet. We don't do that.
I need a scar like my dad.
The only kids that wore helmets were kids that had recent brain surgery as a child, and they were strange anyway.
You didn't.
And they weren't just wearing their helmets for bikes, though. It was just
just
for life. They needed that. They needed the helmet.
Yeah, they're working helmets for social studies.
Steve, what is your show, The Land? Is that something you wrote yourself?
Yeah, I wrote it like years ago. Well, not years ago, like 4 years ago. And it's because there's a woman here in Atlanta who's the major casting director, and she was also responsible for helping get a lot of the film and TV production here. And she had been a casting director for, 30 years, and she really wanted to produce stuff. And right after I'd finished writing for Tyler Perry, she approached me and said, would you be interested in writing a series about a farm? And I said, well, sure. And I'd grown up watching the Waltons and stuff, which was like, it was a show that the whole family could watch, but it wasn't like the Disney Channel. It was actually pretty great. And so I wanted to, write something that, most of the family could watch, except Larry, the cousin.
With the helmets.
And so you wanted Larry with the helmet. He's not allowed to watch television. Right. And so, so I wrote this thing, and we've gotten good response. And I've been busy acting, and acting's a lot easier than writing. But we still have it out there and trying to sell it, and we'll see. It's kind of, I think it would do well because it's funny and sad, and the whole family could watch it without it being all watered down. It's actually, because I think kids are pretty smart, and they're like pretty cool stories too.
Yeah, they do.
But, and I've written a couple things, and just wrote a little play. But writing is hard because you got to do it alone, and and once you get going, I always compared writing to like trying to put, you've gone swimming in the early part of the day, then you go out and play baseball, and you go back, and you got to put on your wet bathing suit. It just feels, and that's what I don't want to get lost.
That's what writing's like. I always feel like when I write even like bits for the show, like my mind goes too fast for me to even like write or type. Like I can't keep up with my mind.
Well, see, that's a nice problem because sometimes my mind is just sitting there going, "Hey, could I get some some Cheetos?" Because, I like running once I get going, but to get going, it is like putting on a wet bathing suit. It's like, God. Because always my first ideas suck. So, and you got to get,
Sometimes I'm like really I'm just sitting there for days. Like, I know I should have wrote it yesterday, but I didn't like that idea. And it's really, really hard. It's really tough.
Someone compared it to when you first turn on the hose. I'm like going to be metaphor man tonight.
Oh, I like that. That's cool. That. That's good.
You first turn on the hose and the water's kind of brown and hot. I don't know where you live, but it's brown and hot.
Well, yeah.
It's always
and then finally, so you got to be willing to just start writing and let the crap come out. Because I get kind of picky. Like if it's not perfect, it's like, well, I'm not going to write at all. I'm just going to go on the internet or watch television. But once it is fun when you do something and then I'm sure when you hear something good done or see it. Then it's like when I went for Tyler Perry, I wrote a scene that took place an apartment fire, and I went on the set a week later, and they built an apartment building. And you're like, God, this is it's like playing with G.I. Joes, but life size. And then that could get really ugly. That doesn't sound good, does it? I'm playing with a life-size G.I. Joe.
Yeah. You weren't responsible for Medea, were you?
That's what I was just going to say. Like, or Boo 2. Like, okay. What did you write for Tyler Perry?
I wrote for 3 years for both of his. He had 2 TV shows, House of Pain and then Meet the Browns. And I wrote for both of them. I wrote for more. I was head writer for House of Pain the last year.
Cool.
And it was great. I learned. Part of it was horrendous because it was like writing for live TV because we did 3 shows. We taped 3 shows a week, sometimes 5 shows a week.
Wow.
So you had to write really fast, and at first he wasn't used to writers, so it was kind of suspicious of him because he just always has done his own stuff. But then my last year there I really liked because he trusted me and I could write and he would, to be fine. But at first it was a little tough, but it was good. I learned how to write.
Cool.
Awesome. So that was like your first writing gig then was for Tyler Perry.
Yeah, all I'd done up at that point, because I was mainly acting, but then acting had gotten a little slow, and I got tired of playing Southern deputies, because at that point, I was all... I'd read that Billy Bob Thornton, he was playing a lot of little roles in films and stuff, and he got tired of it, so he wrote Sling Blade. And I do the same thing. Well, I didn't write Sling Blade. But I got
Sling Blade 2.
I wrote Sling Blade 2, which was TOO. Sling Blade also.
Why not do the exact same thing?
Sling Blade also.
Yeah. So it didn't work out so good, so I did something else. So I wrote this character called the Etiquette Man. It was like kind of modern day Mr. Rogers. Just freaks everybody out, but he actually... And so I did that as a live sort of play, and then I did a film of it. And then I wrote a screenplay that got some attention and ended up sending it to Tyler Perry. And then he called up and said, "You want to write for TV?" And I was like, "Sure."
Yeah.
And he's pretty cool because like with LA, is like a lot of it is who you know and relationships. With him, it was just like he would give you the football, and if you ran with it, and if you didn't, you'd never get the football again.
Yeah.
But he would give you a chance, and it was all based on merit. It wasn't like, oh, I've known you for a certain amount of time. He didn't give a crap about that. It was like if you could perform and do your job, you would get your chance. And that's because here I am, a white Canadian guy, and I'm Tyler Perry's head writer. It's like, how the hell did that happen? Because he was fair. He was really kind of fair. So
wow.
I was always grateful about that.
Are there a lot of guys that are just like they just hire their friends?
Yeah, I think what's weird is a writer's room you can kind of hide in a writer's room. Like for example, let's say we're all in a writer's room and one of you guys, let's say there's a guy we'll call him Larry with a bicycle helmet. Larry is not a good writer, but he's in the room and he writes a script and it's just dreadful. And this happened often. Like we job out a script to an LA writer or something. And Larry writes a really bad script, so you and we rewrite it, and we punch it up a whole lot, and it ends up being a really pretty good script. Well, Larry's name is still on the script, so he kind of gets credit for being pretty good.
Yeah.
And so I've been in writers' rooms where they are friends of the head writer, or they like one guy who I interviewed to hire when I was head writer. He had these incredible credits, and it was like, and he sent a script, and it was hard because it was really, really bad. And I even gave him another chance. I said, try again.
Yeah.
And it wasn't any good. And what he was a good administrator. And he was very good at the business of stuff and the relationships. He just wasn't good at the writing.
He was a good people person.
Yeah, it's not rampant, but you can hide in a writer's. And that's the thing where it's good at, like for example, I just rewrote a play for someone. And they'll get credit for stuff if the play goes well that I wrote. And so it's kind of weird.
Wow.
That, but yeah. So, but that's not the case of like Breaking Bad or those guys are all great writers. But in some other rooms, that was my experience. I was like, wow, you should be better if you work for all those people.
Yeah.
In the Walking Dead writers room.
Yeah, they be good. So you gotta be you have to be pretty good.
Yeah.
And yeah.
What is I know you mentioned lore. Are you in that or do you you are in that? I don't have Amazon Prime, so I wasn't able to check it out.
So well, if you were rich like me, you have it.
I know, I had Steve Coulter money.
Yeah, that's Steve Coulter, the Hollywood elite with my Honda Accord. No, it's actually kind of cool because I'm surprised it's not. I'm sure it will eventually stream for you poor people, so you can watch it in your hovels and things. So you're gathered around your fire. It's actually a cool story. It's based on a podcast that I'd never heard of, but apparently is really popular. And it's kind of like Twilight Zone, but it's like true stuff. It's like myths that were true, and then they mix like fancy phone bone Hollywood actors with kind of documentary style footage, and it's genuinely scary because it's real. So it's kind of cool. It's like an anthology series, so I just did the first one.
I was reading the reviews on it, and I don't know why, but I always start with like reading negative reviews because I'm curious. But these people were these people were complaining about the narrator, and the thing was that the narrator was the guy that did the podcast. He's the dude that made the podcast.
So he obviously
I thought that was the coolest thing, that these guys who made this series were like, no, we want the guy who did the show. Like, we're gonna give it to him. Like, to be bad mouthing that that made me a little upset to see that that's what people were criticizing.
Yeah, it's weird because that's the whole reason they made the show is the podcast, and it's like, and I've heard similar people who don't know the podcast because the guy just has a regular voice. He's not like he doesn't have a voice made for radio or whatever. It's just sort of a regular kind of like the typical male podcast voice. It sounds a little bit like NPR, and they're just all kind of high pitched and So I don't know that. I think if they wanted to get a wider audience, they might use some of that. But I don't know.
Yeah,
I just thought that was really cool.
That is
to give it to that guy. Like, that's awesome. You know.
Yeah.
I respect it. I respect the decision.
Would be a show without him.
Yeah. Now, I was actually wondering, Steve. You said you write plays. Do you prefer writing plays over screenplays, like for the stage?
No, I don't know because that's the first play I've ever written.
Oh, okay.
And so I did really like it, and I felt it's kind of odd. You're more limited because, in a screenplay, you can sort of write anything, like the comet comes down and kills a unicorn. And I knew, which that is going to be a great film, by the way, so keep your eye out for the comet and the unicorn. But with the play, like I found out what parameter, like what did they have? They already had a cast, since it was a very late rewrite. So I knew the cast members, and I knew what set they had. I knew what they could do. So, and in a way, though, as a writer, I kind of like knowing those limits because then you sort of gives you more of a playing field that that you won't use a comet hitting a unicorn.
Yeah.
But and it is kind of because you do have to do much more dialogue. It's much more dialogue intense. So that's kind of a neat challenge as well because you got to have it all happen in the speaking versus really cool screen direction. But the money isn't the same, I'll tell you that. Right. You get paid in donuts and clean socks. So it's like
it's more than we get.
My all-time favorite film director and writer is I can't pronounce his name right, but it's Martin, and he did Seven Psychopaths.
I thought you were saying Martin Lawrence.
Martin McDonough.
Martin McDonough, yeah.
It's not that hard.
I'm terrible at
Steve, welcome to my world.
I'm terrible at pronouncing names. So Martin McDonough.
You see two vowels next to each other.
Yeah, and I'm just that's exactly. You're right, Steve. That's what it is. I'm like, I can't. My mind just melts. I just can't do it.
He needs a helmet, Steve. He needs Larry. Where's Larry?
I do need a helmet. But no,
Just sound it out, Larry.
In Bruges, Seven Psychopaths both are amazing. He did a short film, I think it was called Shooter. Great, like they're amazing, and it's like wow. And it's
I'm very impressed by you now. I wasn't until now. No, you're right. Because In Bruges is awesome, and he did the new one about the billboards.
It looks great.
Like the 5 billboards outside of. Yeah, he's like in his plays. He's just like he writes with a sword. It's subtle and vicious and funny and dark and he's great. That's he wrote a play called Pillow Man. If you ever get a chance to see, it's terrifying and great.
Was that the one where he actually had Sam Rockwell and Christopher Walken in it, right?
It may be. I kind of think. He may have, because they started it, like most of his plays, I think he's Irish, so I think they did them originally in England and Ireland. And most of them, they always bring them over to New York. But yeah, it's awesome. I can't wait to see that one with Frances McDormand.
Oh, it looks amazing. It's getting great reviews, and apparently her performance is great. They even said again Sam Rockwell's shines in it, which is awesome. I love Sam Rockwell.
I love him. He's always great.
Yeah, he's a very talented actor.
Guys, we have to wrap this up. Steve, thank you so much, dude.
I gotta go back to my union meeting.
I'm sorry. But thank you so much for talking to us again. And where can everybody find you?
I'm sitting in my car about a mile from the Atlanta airport.
All right.
There you go. Oh, wait, no, you can see me. There's a new Al Pacino film coming out called Hangman. And I play a priest in that, and I get to go toe-to-toe with Pacino.
Nice.
I think it's coming out this month.
Cool.
So there you go. And other than that, I'll be in my car near the airport. So selling meth, because that's what I like to do.
Thank you, Steve. You're amazing. You're awesome.
Great. Well, I look forward to talking to you again. Take care of yourself, and have a great holiday. You celebrate those things.
You too.
All right.
Later, Steve.
Bye, guys.
Later, Steve. So good.
Awesome.